Tax Reforms Bill's conversation continues. The Presidential Task Force on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee remains assertive that the reforms seek to tax fruits and not seeds, prosperity and not poverty. Today on Panorama from the Benin Network Center, we attempt to shed more light on this assertion. I am Anwuli Okolo and I welcome you to Panorama today. The Federal Republic of Nigeria congratulates Joseph Aoun following his election as President of the Republic of Lebanon. Joseph Aoun secured 99 votes from the 128-seat parliament to win the presidency, thereby breaking a deadlock that has left the country without a head of state since October 2022. A statement by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs says Nigeria looks forward to further strengthening the historic and strong relationship between both countries for the benefit of the people. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to participate in the 2025 edition of the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, President of the United Arab Emirates, invited President Tinubu to attend the summit, which will take place in the Emirate from January 12 to 18. Statement by Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, states the summit will bring together global leaders to accelerate sustainable development and advance socio-economic progress. The event, the nexus of next, superchanging sustainable progress, will enable policy makers, business and civil society leaders to explore pathways to fast-track the transformation to a sustainable economy and evolve a new era of prosperity for all. The statement asked ADSW, a testament to the power of collaboration, has been held annually for over 15 years. It provided a global platform to foster multi-stakeholder cooperation in addressing global challenges and accelerating growth. It adds that it has bettered high-value agreements and strategic partnerships between governments, industry leaders, and clean energy pioneers worldwide, driving impactful alliances and advancing the sustainability agenda worldwide. The statement further adds President Tinubu will stress his administration's reforms, including those related to energy sufficiency, transportation, public health and economic development. He is to also, with his entourage, meet with the Emirates leadership to discuss issues of interest affecting the two nations. On his entourage, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tuga, and other senior government officials. The President will return to Nigeria on Thursday, January 16. Anytime issues of climate change arises, women quickly come to mind as the most affected, those who bear the burden. It is in this view that the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs is partnering the National Council for Climate Change to ease the burden on women as the new year sets in. Momso Damian has details.
The Minister of Women Affairs thanked by her directors receiving the Director of the National Council for Climate Change.
One of our focus actually is adaptation, because we are hugely impacted by the impact of climate change, and women are one of the vulnerable groups. And you cannot talk about addressing climate change in the country without understanding the role of women as women who are affected, and also women who are solution providers.
It's not just about, addressing, doing the mitigation and addressing the consequences, also dealing with it from the root causes, sustainability. So women have a huge role to play. And I look forward to working with you to ensure that we kind of achieve that. Speaking about the Nigerian Greta, that is very important, because for me it signifies catching them young. The climate change issues is when it comes to conserving energy, when it comes to the transition, what role do young people play? As you may be aware, there was just a Ministry of Women, there were the Ministry for Children.
The reason for the visit is simple, yet critical to the welfare of women across Nigeria. The minister is convinced that such collaborations will go a long way in addressing the multiple challenges confronting women around climate changes. Momso Damien Ati, NTA News.
This Friday joined other Muslims and the Nigerian Armed Forces for a special Juma prayer at the National Mosque, Abuja, as part of activities to commemorate the 2025 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration. Abdullahi Ajiya reports that the Imam of the National Mosque, Professor Lauman Zakari, enjoins worshippers to entrust everything in Allah through sincerity of deeds, prayers and faith, as Allah has promised victory for the righteous and faithful.
In this mosque,
as Muslims joined other compatriots on this year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration, President Bola Tinubu also joins the solid voices of faithful for Allah's ultimate guidance and victory for the country. Professor Lukman Zakaria's sermon examines moral standards and ethical behaviors from the premise of the Quran and Hadith, with a call on all to be upright and promote goodness.
When we act with ikhlas, our actions are accepted by Allah and we are rewarded. Ikhlas empowers us to uphold justice.
The cleric, who salutes the gallantry of the military, acknowledges the efforts towards ensuring the peace, unity and progress of the country, urging all to uphold justice and peaceful coexistence.
Al-Karim, Al-Wahhab, Al-Mu'ti, we ask you for blessings and protection upon our President, His Excellency, Al-Hajj Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and all his cabinets.
Our armed forces deserve to be supported and to be prayed for because they have sacrificed for this country.
Appeals for continuous welfare and support for the families of the fallen heroes, veterans, and serving men and officers of the armed forces of Nigeria, as he reminds worshippers of Allah's promise of truth to prevail over evil. In Abuja, Abdullahi Ajiya, NTA.
Tax system review, as contained in the recommendations of the tax reforms bills currently before the National Assembly, holds great prospects for economic growth and development both at national and subnational levels. Some experts in Edo State made this submission while expressing their views on the current tax reform bills. Jude Abugu has details.
The bills transmitted by the President to the National Assembly in October are the Nigeria Tax Bill 2024, the Nigeria Tax Administration Bill, the Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Bill, and the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill. These are intended to overhaul tax administration and revenue generation in the country. As the Presidential Committee on Fiscal and Tax Reforms says, the bills will provide a fiscal framework for taxation in the country and offer a clear and concise legal framework for all taxes.
Our policies, tax, fiscal policy, monetary policy must facilitate sustainable growth and development for shared prosperity, which means that our economy must be organized in a way that is conducive and investment friendly.
Although there are some contentions in the bills, especially on derivations and VAT sharing, experts believe that most of the components are of immense benefit to the nation and the citizens.
This very bill had recognized that the majority of persons in this country that are developing the country belong to the SME, that is small, medium enterprises. And this level of entrepreneurs belong to that threshold. But this bill has also increased it to 50 million. So if your shareholding, your capital is not up to 50 million, you are not going to pay tax.
You can only get what you give. So what you now need to do is to give more. Because the more you give, the more you will now receive. So it is a progressive attempt to make people to be responsible, to make people to work, and to make people to seek development in their area.
They advise states to see the proposed tax reform bills as an opportunity to harness their resources for economic growth.
That was the principle before, immediately after independence. And that was why the regions developed very well. They developed competitively. They built universities, they made great investments, and they did it for the resources.
Describing the proposed tax system review as the right step in the right direction, respondents noted that the reforms will be better appreciated by Nigerians when they are enacted into laws and are fully implemented. In Benin, Jude Abuja, NTA News.
To throw more light on this issue, we have a guest in the house. He is a lecturer in the Department of Political Science at the University of Benin, Dr. Andrew Omosefe. You're welcome, sir. Thank you for joining us on this program.
Thank you.
All right, so let's start with an overview of this issue. What should Nigerians know about this tax reform bill? How progressive is it really?
Okay, the tax reform bill is a progressive attempt at overhauling the Nigeria's tax system and ensuring that low-income earners are not just brought into the tax net, but the high-income earners, who were hitherto favored by the current system, are not just, completely brought into the tax net, but they pay what they are supposed to pay.
Okay.
The bill seeks to also eliminate the challenge or the challenges of multiple taxation, where it ensures that small businesses who were exposed to multiple taxation in the past will at some point even not have to pay taxes. Because if you look at some of the provisions of the bill as it is currently, you will discover that small income businesses will not even have to pay taxes, while big corporate businesses will pay the first year 25%, 27%, and then subsequently 25%. So what that means is that 90% of Nigerians of Nigerian workers who earn below 800,000 and below would not have to pay taxes. That's those who earn
about 80,000 naira
minimum wage now. Yeah,
okay.
Wouldn't have to even pay taxes at all.
Okay.
Why those who earn between 800,000 and 3 million will first of all have that first 800,000 naira exempted from tax, while the remaining 2.2 million naira will get to be taxed to the tune of 15%, of what they earn. So that will effectively reduce the tax burden on Nigerian workers, all right, thereby, helping them to have more money in their pockets to spend. So those who do not really understand the tax bill are the people that are actually criticizing it. As far as I'm concerned, it is a progressive, ambitious attempt by the federal government of Nigeria under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to actually bring more people into the tax net, all right, while reducing their burden in the process.
From your response, I can already tell that you seem to think that the bill is apt.
Yeah, yes, it is. For some time, some of us have had to, question the rationale behind multiple taxes that small businesses pay. One of the reasons you find that prices of goods and commodities are on the increase is the challenge of multiple taxation, because by the time one revenue generating body comes, you collect taxes, another one comes from the same government, and you'll find out that business owners who mop up funds to pay these taxes we ordinarily want to make profits.
Yes.
And who are those that are going to bear the brunt? It is those who are going to consume, at the end. So it's not just about criticizing. I think people should, look at the provisions.
Okay, so
and then on that basis, form their judgment. Not just criticize because you hear others criticizing.
Okay, but how do you think that we can better understand the complexities in these reforms and then better appreciate this reforms bill?
Okay, let us look at it this way. The tax reform bill in itself, I call it 4-in-1, because it proposes to establish the Nigerian tax bill, all right, and then the Nigerian tax administration bill, NTA, and then establish the Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Bill, which is to take over the functions
FIRS.
Of the FIRS, and then the Joint Revenue Board, which is to also take over the Joint Tax Board, JTB, is currently doing. And as of today, the bill has passed through its second reading in the National Assembly, and then all of the hula baloo about whether it's going to shortchange a section of the country or it's going to better a section of the country, and all of those stuff. But by and large, if we are going to look at it the way it is, the states are the greatest beneficiaries from, this whole thing, as 55% of the total revenue accruing from VAT, what you call the value added tax, will be coming to the states. And then another 35% or so will go to the local government. All right?
So why do you think there's a misconception that the VAT is not going to benefit the states?
In the north. Because I think that's what the issue is. Most northern governors, who are against this bill, probably do not understand, what actually it entails or what they stand to benefit. All right, the state itself will get a massive 55%. But the difference here is that the states that get to consume more will get to earn more. Unlike the current system where the VAT ordinarily will go to states that houses the headquarters of those, of those who produces these goods and commodities. But the states that has the highest rate of consumption would now ordinarily get more. So it's a situation where states like maybe Edo.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. The discourse is one that will take us, a long time to just keep breaking it down for everyone to get on board. Thank you, Dr. Andrew, for joining on Discuss Today, and we hope you got something out of that. We'll take a break now, and don't go away. Panorama continues right after.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we sway in colors, with undoubted divine. We make solutions, we ignite passion, yeah. Ethnicity is unique, we have more than just a nation. We are Nigeria, strengthening unity, we know they carry lives. We are Nigeria, together live the dream of a land with great destiny. We are Nigeria.
I am the real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
Welcome back. Federal government, with the support of the World Health Organization (WHO), is upgrading and revitalizing 88 primary healthcare centers in Nasarawa State to provide quality healthcare services in rural communities. Aliyu Tijani reports that the reforms seek to target increased access to healthcare services in achieving a healthier population in the state.
Implemented under the Immunization Plus and Malaria Progress by Accelerating Coverage and Transforming Service Impact Project, which aims to improve facilities across 780 primary healthcare centers in the state. So far, equipment have been provided to 147 primary healthcare centers in the state, while 88 primary healthcare centers are currently being upgraded and revitalized with capacity building of healthcare personnel so as to strengthen healthcare system in communities in the state. The stakeholders' engagement is to assess progress made in the implementation of the impact project, which stakeholders say is successful.
We want to double all the indicators we are tracking, both maternal child indicator and malaria indicator. We want to more than double those indicators, and that is one of the essence we are having this stakeholders meeting.
However, stakeholders decry low patronage of rural population in accessing primary healthcare services despite huge investment and call for sensitization. The state government assures federal government and the World Health Organization, as well as other development partners, of its commitment in implementing the project.
PSC posed a strategic point of blocking most of these diseases through proper vaccination.
By end of 2025, we'll reach to that 147 primary healthcare that is similar to the whole of Nasarawa State.
While the project will end by the end of the year, the implementing players commit to scale up interventions across all primary healthcare centers in the state. Aliyu Tijani, NTA News.
Government says justice will be served for a 12-year-old actor who was allegedly gang raped by 5 men on last year's Christmas Eve at Ewiyemi Esako East local government area. The administrator, Office of the First Lady, Edesili Anani, stated this when she went to visit the victim at the Daisy Hanere Danjuma Center, Benin City. Goodluck Enaini has details.
The administrator, Office of the First Lady, Edesili Anani, who was at the Daisy Hanere Danjuma Center to see the victim, condemned the perpetrators for allegedly filming themselves in the act and circulating the video on social media.
Edo State has this law. I had to bring it here for everybody to see. The violence against persons. Section 4 clearly defines what rape is. Section 5 states the consequence of rape, the punishments that will be given to people when found guilty. Edo State has zero tolerance for any form of violence. So as a group, as a government, we're here to say we stand with the little child. We are behind her, and they'll be brought to...
She was also at the headquarters of the Edo State Police Command with the victim to appeal for speedy investigation. Edo State Commissioner of Police Umoru Ziggy assured the victim that justice will be served in line with the Violence Against Person Prohibition Law. Although 3 suspects have been arrested in connection with the crime, the administrator, Edesili Anani, is sad over the ugly incidents. In Benin, Goodluck Enaini, NTA News.
Now, for more sports stories on the sporting world, let's join Peter Oibo for Sports Update.
Let's begin with football ahead of Sunday clash between El Masry FC of Egypt against the People's Elephant Eyimba FC of Nigeria in the CAF Confederations Cup match at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium, Uyo. The visitors on Friday had their first training section at the training pitch of the stadium as part of preparation for the encounter. Eyimba, who are third on the log in Group D, lost the reverse feature 2-0 in Egypt. Meanwhile, 23 Super Eagles B players have resumed camping exercise at the Remo Star Sport Institute in Ikene Remo ahead of the 8th African Nations Championship finals. The 2024 Championship will feature 18 countries. Finally, British-Nigerian boxer Anthony Joshua's promoter Eddie Hearn has re-emphasized that Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua's encounter is still on the table with possibility of coming true. The fight between the two top British heavyweights has been on the screen for years but has yet to materialize. Joshua's promoter claimed that there is still a very strong desire to hold the fight this year. With Peter Oibo, NTA News.
All on Panorama today. Many thanks for watching. Have a good day.